opened up the door, we would feed the hungry feet till they couldn't eat no more. Supernature, 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 supernature.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us today for Master Your Booking Process, Build Overflowing Appointment Books, which will be delivered by Chrissy Alger, Senior Coach at the Zing Project. My name is Kimberly Martin and I am the Marketing and Growth Mentor at Forest here in Australia, and I'll be your facilitator for today. If you've joined us for an event in the past, a live or a webinar, welcome back. And if today is your first time with us, I hope that you join us for more of these sessions in the future and connect with us online. One of the easiest and quickest ways to do that is to follow us on Facebook at Forest Salon Software and on Instagram at forest.au. But a bit about today's webinar topic and what you can expect. In today's session, Chrissy Alger will assist you in navigating all of the appointment management pitfalls that often leave you with last-minute cancellations and difficulties in securing bookings. You'll be in great hands today. Chrissy is a startup business entrepreneur, psychologist, and a business coach who specializes in mindset, marketing, and business growth and scale. She has scaled her startup businesses Infinity Wellness and Infinity Skin and Body exponentially, and now assists other salon and business owners to do exactly the same. And just before I bring her on, I have a few bits of housekeeping to let you know about. If at any time during this session you have any questions or technical difficulties, please let us know in the YouTube comments and we'll be happy to be of assistance. Also, make sure you get ready for the Q&A we have at the end, and for which you can also drop your questions into the YouTube comments at any time. We hope you enjoyed today's webinar. And without further ado, Chrissy, thank you for joining us and sharing your knowledge. The floor is yours.
There I am. Thank you so much for that. Absolute pleasure to be here. I think it's quite a challenging time for salon owners in particular, business owners obviously everywhere. But, it's an absolute honour to be here to share, obviously, some of the ideas I've got around your appointment management process. But in particular, I'm a Melbourne-based salon owner and I've literally just become free today. So I'm very excited about that. My salon has reopened today. So if there's anybody out there that's a little bit hesitant around COVID and opens and closes and reopens and whatever else might be challenging you, I do have a little bit of information around COVID today in the presentation, which I think is highly relevant to today's circumstances. But please feel free to pop any additional questions you've got in the chat if you want me to elaborate on anything. So, all right, I might bring up my first slide, please, Kim.
Wonderful, will do. Can you see that there, Chrissy?
I can see it loud and clear. Awesome stuff. Yeah. So I might give you, Kim has given me an amazing introduction, but I might just talk a little bit about myself, if you don't mind. But yes, basically I am a senior coach at Zing, and, I fell into this industry, and it's interesting that I did because I'm actually a psychologist by profession. And I spent 10 years in the correctional system actually treating violent offenders, believe it or not. I know, crazy stuff. And I had this idea that I wanted to go and build a startup business out in my community and build a wellness centre that had all of the things that I loved in it. And it had, I had a yoga studio, I had a medi spa, and then I had allied health consulting suites. And that was, when was that now? 2017 that was. And then I made all the mistakes and it was all a bit of a nightmare. And, as startup businesses are, they can be very hard work. Any business is really. And then I was able to really grow and scale the medi spa. Now, with that, what has happened is I was able to take the skin clinic out of the wellness centre and put it into its own standalone location, which is now Infinity Skin and Body in the main shopping district in a little place called Sunbury in Melbourne. And then the last couple of years, just spent really growing and developing that business, and then come into the coaching space because I was able to achieve in business life, and specialised in marketing, mindset, obviously because I'm a psychologist, sales psychology, business growth and scale. So everything that I bring to you tonight is from my own learning experiences. It's from experiences that I've had in coaching my clients. So everything's tried and tested. Trust me, the content that I delivered to you tonight is because I've probably made all of these mistakes. So I've been able to get rid of all of that for you and bring to you the best information that I've got available to help you really keep those appointment books overflowing. So hopefully you find amazing value in that.
Yeah, I love that. I think you're just such a fantastic person to have on, because not only do you have that really interesting and diverse background, but you also are a salon owner, so you can really relate to the clients that we have joining us today. So thanks, Chrissy. We do really appreciate you being here.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it, hey? And this is a bit different to Zoom. We can't see the live watchers, but I can call for people to pop comments in their little chat there. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I just want to know, for those of you that are watching live, do you have a booking policy? So do you have something, written up, whether it be booking terms and conditions, guidelines, it could be known as a cancellation policy. I call mine a booking policy. Something that you have that is I suppose, a guideline as to how people are able to book with your salon. I'm just interested to know from the audience whether people have a booking policy. Feel free to pop that in the comments. It's interesting because I'm in a part of all of the chat forums, and even it's actually quite consistent. I see people making posts, I want to implement a booking policy that has a cancellation fee or a no-show fee, and I really don't know what to do, and should I do it? I think my clients are going to be really angry at me, and and I just think, oh my goodness, like it's a booking policy to me is almost a bare essential in business, because it really does set the scene around how you expect people to treat you. So as humans in life, we have certain expectations, we have boundaries, we have social expectations of how we want people to treat us. So in my mind, I go, well, isn't it a no-brainer that we also have that in our businesses, that we actually have a standard of which we expect our clientele to abide by to make sure that our time is respected, because I did a live on this the other day. When I came into the industry, I was gobsmacked that people didn't turn up for appointments. I couldn't believe it, because I had always been somebody that had, if I book an appointment, I turn up. So when I had my skin clinic, I would look at my beautifully filled books and they were all nice and full, and I'd be like, oh, this is fantastic. And then the day before, it was a whitewash. And I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, well, that's all right. We've got and the next day, a whitewash. And the day after, whitewash. And I'm like, I need to do something about this, because I can't keep, having team members on that are all rostered and ready to go, and at the last minute I've got people not turning up, and, clients just all over the place. And I thought, I didn't actually know this was a thing before I came into the salon industry. Really, really shocked that people didn't turn up for appointments. So as I said at the start of the presentation, I really have learnt the hard way around this, guys. So if you're sitting there umming and ahhing and going, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I? Let me tell you that it is the only way to go. You have to have a standard and an expectation with your clientele about how they treat you, because if you don't, unfortunately, they're going to do whatever they want to do. Okay. And as humans, and this is the psychology side coming out in me, humans don't like commitment. they will find any way they possibly can to get out of making a commitment. Okay, and that includes, and this is why you get a little bit of blowback sometimes when you ask for a deposit. It's like, oh, I'm going to turn up. I can guarantee you every single time Karen says she's going to turn up, but she doesn't want to give you a booking deposit, it's Karen that doesn't show up, guys. I'm telling you, I've done the market research on that every time. I've just, I let Karen go, and on the day it'll be Karen that doesn't show up. I'm like, damn it, she got me again. So you have to have a standard, guys, because if you don't have a standard and an expectation, then you are leaving yourself open to being mistreated and not having yourself and your team members who you're paying good money for, you won't have their time respected. So that's super, super important. You're setting the culture around how people interact with your business.
I love that. And just to note, we've had a couple of people say that, yes, they do have a policy in their business. So that's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Wonderful.
All right, we'll get the next slide, please, Kim. All right. So for me, there's some important foundations to a good, solid booking policy. I'm going to share those with you. So you definitely have to have a minimum notice cancellation period. Now, I've seen this vary across salons and clinics. Some people have a 48-hour, some people have a 24-hour. So for us, we operate, and I encourage, a 48-hour process. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you might charge somebody within that 48 hours, but our process for confirmation starts 48 hours out from the booking time. Okay, now we look at providing consequences for late cancellations and no-shows within the 24-hour period. But that's not when we start getting the commitment from people, okay? It actually starts way before the 48-hour period, but the 48-hour period really is when we start upping the ante on anybody that may or may not have got back to us about confirming their bookings. Okay, so making sure that you have a mapped out time period as to which you're going to have different levels of communication or commitment, sort of, I cut off here when I go to, a charge period or a forfeiture, which I'm going to talk to you about. But having a set period of time is really important. All right, you need to have consequences for people, and it needs to be evident. People need to know about it. I think one of the biggest challenges for people is that they have these policies, but they're hidden away. And I'm going to talk to you about all of the touch points that you can engage with your clients around making sure that they're well informed around what your booking policy is. Okay. A really good booking policy, I believe, and I think and the most effective booking policies have booking fees, deposits, or security of some kind. And that is really about cementing that commitment. Okay, this area can be I find that salon owners and business owners, can be a little bit apprehensive about this point in particular. They'll have the booking policies, but then they're really reluctant to take a deposit, or they're reluctant to take security because they feel like that's where they get the pushback. Okay. Yes. And I get it. Like, I do understand that. But a lot of the time, the people that are pushing back on that, like I said, they're the Karens, guys.
They're the ones that won't show. Yeah.
They're the ones that want to be able to pull the rug from under you at the last minute and say, oh, I'm sorry, it's bad weather, I'm stuck in traffic, or the kids are sick, or whatever it is that they come up with. I've heard it all. Yes. So you may lose a couple of clients, but, the reality is the bulk of your clients, they're good quality clients. They respect your time and they respect you as a business. They will not have an issue with it, okay? And I've successfully implemented booking policies with security or booking fees in numerous salons with no problems, okay? Just on the security side of things, if you're looking at doing like a credit card storage arrangement where you only then charge the credit card after they might have breached the policy. You do need to have a merchant system that is equipped for storing credit card details safely. Okay, you can't go and pop that in Forest and store it away on the client notes section. You're not allowed to do that. No, but hopefully soon we're going to have our credit card security access on Forest coming soon. So fingers crossed for that one. I'm not sure how far away it is, but I'm pretty sure it's in the not too near distant future. That'll be amazing. At the moment, we're using Stripe, guys, for anyone that's thinking, well, what is one? So we're using Stripe to do that at the moment. Communicating your policy, really, really important. I don't know how many times I've had coaching clients come to me and say, oh, Betty is angry because she didn't know about the policy. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me where Betty would have accessed the policy. Oh, well, we've got it in the manual. I'm like, well, your client's not going to go and look in your salon manual to find your booking policy, or it's on my website, but my website's under construction. It's like, well, that's not good for Betty, is it? So we have a number of different areas that we store our policy. All of our automation that we have set up in Forest has around booking confirmations when people have booked appointments. All of those emails have our booking policy located on the confirmation emails. We do a lot of social media marketing. So when we are booking clients through our social media channels, all of our clients receive a booking reservation receipt that has our booking policy clearly outlined on that reservation receipt. When we come to collect our security, we do credit card security over deposits, and our front of house team are getting on the phone and collecting those securities. They are then reiterating the booking policy. So we have and it's on our website. We have when people just go to look at the terms and conditions of our booking in our social media campaigns, they can hit a button that says booking policy, and it's got all of the booking policy there. So it's everywhere you turn in my skin clinic is evidence of the booking policy. So nobody's surprised, nobody's shocked. And if they are, we're a bit sus on that. They've probably looked at it, but they probably don't want to take responsibility for the fact that they've read it, but they don't necessarily want to lose or they don't want to be charged as per the no insure or the late cancellation fee.
So, yeah, that's a great one, Chrissy. I definitely agree. And if anyone is a Forest user and they want some assistance with making sure that's in your client communications around appointments, definitely reach out and let us know. We can assist you with that.
Awesome stuff. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to give you an insight into our touchpoint process, and it does also incorporate COVID challenges, okay, because I would probably call myself a lockdown expert with 5.0 as far as appointment management goes, with Melbourne being on number 5, coming out of number 5 lockdown. But with COVID, at the height of COVID, not that we're not at the height of COVID at the moment, but when there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of challenges, so New South Wales is probably going to be in this boat for a little bit of time. We actually sent out 7-day warning messages of appointments. So it actually wasn't requesting a confirmation of their booking at that stage. All it simply was an SMS that had all of our COVID screening policy in it. It also had our booking policy in it. And it also said, if you are feeling unwell or you're exhibiting symptoms or, for whatever reason, you might not be able to attend your appointment because it's COVID related, let us know now. Okay, because the more warning you get from your clients, the more opportunity you have to be able to replace those bookings. Okay, so it's just about trying to stay ahead of you might have somebody that just doesn't feel comfortable coming into the clinic environment or the salon, if there's particularly when it's a really unstable time. as far as hotspots being announced on, and all of that sort of thing, it might become a little bit unstable. So you might need to, put that 7-day warning process in place, because there's lots of instability and fear and anxiety about bookings. Okay. Then our next touch point comes at the 48-hour mark. All right. So we have Forest that sends out our 48-hour warning of the booking. Now, really for us, if and I'll reverse a little bit. When somebody makes a booking with us, we collect security straight away. Okay, so if that booking's 2 weeks out, we get on there and we get their credit card security, get that in the system well ahead of time. Okay, we don't wait to the 48-hour mark to go collecting our security. We do it at booking stage. Now, anybody that wants to book an appointment that is within the 48-hour window, we don't book that appointment unless we are able to get them on the phone to collect that security straight out. Okay, so nobody's booking within the 48-hour time frame without having a phone call with us and going through the booking confirmation process. Okay, now anybody that we've got their security, we've got to the 48-hour mark, they receive their SMS. That day we keep an eye on what confirmations are coming through and what are not coming through. So by the time we get to the 24-hour mark, if we have not heard from our clients and we don't have a little tick in Forest that person is confirmed and they're going to be attending, what we do is we send out a forfeiture warning. Okay, and this is really, really important. And I feel like this sometimes is the missing piece to people's booking policy. They go, oh, will she, won't she? I'm too scared to take her appointment out. I'll call, SMS, can't get onto her. Oh, I'm too scared to take her appointment out or his appointment out. I'm just going to leave it there.
Yes.
All right. So they don't go in there and take the appointment out, because they're too fearful or they're worried that on the day, Betty's going to turn up and say, oh, I'm just here for my appointment. And don't get me wrong, it has happened to us.
Yeah.
I don't know how many bloody phone calls and SMSs and all of that we've done. We have had people turn up and we've just said, this is the contact phone number. We've called numerous times. We've sent you a reminder SMS. You got a 48-hour SMS. We gave you a forfeiture warning. We called you on the forfeiture. I'm sorry, Betty. We've tried everything possible to get in touch with you, and unfortunately we've rebooked the spot. But what we'll rebook your time, but you need to understand what our process is. And hopefully Betty never does that again, because consequences, guys, you've got to have them. Right. So 24 hours, that's when we're really upping the ante on making sure that we've got those confirmations in place, but we are forfeiting appointments by the midday so that we've at least got the entire afternoon to go through and make sure that if we've got people on wait list, and I'm going to talk to you about that function, if we've got new leads and prospects coming in, if we've got last people calling up, we can actually offer them those appointment times. Okay, so it leaves you some time there to fill those gaps that are left vacant by your forfeitures, but also potentially people that might cancel on the 48-hour, which means that they're not subject to any consequences, but it is a bit painful because you're like, oh, goodness, normally we're booked a couple of weeks in advance, and then when you've only got 48 hours, it can be a little bit of a stretch to get those filled, but at least you know that you've got those opportunities to offer people, because you've at that 48-hour mark, those people have opted out, which has given you a really good opportunity to get the appointment books refilled. And even better if it's the 7-day COVID warning. It gives you much more time to be able to troubleshoot that. So thanks, Kim. Next slide. All right. So why forfeiture will save you? Like I said, it really does demonstrate that you mean business, right? When I know that, and it's got to be written in a professional way, guys. Don't make sure it's not nasty or aggressive, or, really check yourself on the forfeiture warning. Make it lovely, make it, professional and engaging, put some emojis in there, lighten it up a little bit, because sometimes people can be like, forfeiture? That's a bit rude, so just make sure it is positive, but clear. All right. So, and it does really put you in the, I suppose, position where, yeah, we've got, and I think our forfeiture warning says, we have people waiting for your appointment times, so there's a little bit of scarcity pressure in there where they go, oh, are they? Oh, I want my appointment. I don't want anyone else to take it. Obviously, it gives you a really good opportunity to fill those appointments in the event that, you don't get that person responding.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that it does, we have, because we are big on marketing, we've got lots of organic and social media marketing happening. A lot of the clientele that are coming through there want bookings straight away. All right. So when we are forfeiting people that have not responded to us or we have late cancellations, it's great for us because we're able to get those hot leads that are coming in going, oh, any chance you've got something for tomorrow? In fact, in my clinic, you're much more likely to get something within a very short period of time than if you're trying to book 2 weeks in advance, because we're often booked out at least a month. Potentially, if you're looking at Saturdays, it's at least a 2-month wait for us.
Mm-hmm.
But call up the last minute and we're probably much more likely to be able to accommodate than if we were going to book you in advance. So because of this forfeiture system. Okay. And also, it allows you to tap into your waitlist priorities as well. So I'll talk to you about waitlisting because I think that's an important part of this process as well, because it gives you options and it allows you to fill those gaps when you've got that nice waitlist sitting there.
Love it.
All right, next slide. All right, so, and this one always sends business owners into a little bit of a pickle as well. And when do I charge the client? Like, under what circumstances? And I get it. COVID, people calling up, I'm in isolation, I've got to get a COVID test. I get it. It's really tricky territory sometimes because, some of us are challenged in business at the moment as far as our revenue and things go. And it can be really disappointing and disheartening to get people that are calling up time after time with their COVID screens and their whatever else. So I think that you need to be compassionate, but at the same time, I think you need to execute your breach on a case-by-case basis. For example, if you have somebody that calls up with a particular reason as to why they can't come, and then when you check their booking history, they've had 3 other cancellations, then you might be less lenient with that client than the client that's never done that before and they're wholeheartedly sorry and they're calling up in a panic and their car's broken down, So I think you just need to really think about things ethically, and I don't think there is a one-size-fits-all for this, okay? We come down pretty hard on first-time bookings, okay, because we want to show people that we do mean business. We rarely let first-timers off the hook, whereas some people might think that that's probably the most lenient that they provide people. Oh, they don't know, let's let them off the first time. Do not do that, guys, because what it's doing, it's showing that you're just not going to stand by your booking policy. And I just found that those are the people that do it again and again and again. So you've got to go in hard and then, but obviously, judge it by case. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the fun part. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the new online booking features in Forest because, this was super fun when we started playing around with this in our business. But I'll give you a brief overview of what functionality is available to you now under the new online booking features for Forest. So the biggest change is that you can now alter the way that you want to collect your booking deposit. So you can do it a percentage of the service, or you can do a flat rate booking charge, okay? In the old days, they used to just, I think it was $1.29 or something like that, and it would take the booking security, but it wouldn't necessarily take the payment at the time, okay? And what would happen is when the client didn't show up, we'd go to take the payment, and guess what happened? The client didn't have any money in their account. And we would be all outraged and we'd be like, damn it. Or if we did collect the money, it would take forever to land in your bank account. So, you know, what's happened now is it's become, you know, that you can take the payment now up front, which means you've got your money, all right, and you've got your security there. But it also, because the platform or the payment gateway that is being used, which is Stripe, it allows for immediate deposit of that money into your preferred bank account. So you're not waiting for prolonged periods of time for that money to come through and into your business. So that's awesome. And it's also an ability to customize charges as well. So you can have just a global deposit booking policy for anyone that books online, or you can actually modify that for new clients. You can pick certain clients as well that have certain, parameters around their booking security deposit. You can actually even book services, you know, or change services around the booking security that you collect for that. So, for example, if you have a service that's really high value, that takes a long time to provide, and you know, if you get let's say it's hair and it's a colour client, and when they cancel, there's 3 hours out of your diary, your appointment book's gone. You know, you can actually pop into that service and say, no, I want 100% payment of the upfront for that service for that to be booked online, because I know that if somebody cancels that service, it's going to have a big impact on our appointment books and our revenue for the day. So you can actually go in there and select certain services that you want to apply a different regime or a different restriction on in terms of booking charge or deposit collection. So I like that because it allows flexibility about the way that you are customising your booking charges and your deposit collection. The other thing too, and this is more of a coaching consideration, one of the challenges sometimes is when online booking is used too frequently by existing clients. So what I would encourage you to think about is really to prioritise your online booking to new clients, okay, and really encourage your new clients to be able to access that feature and have it available for new client bookings, because if you're allowing your existing clients to consistently use that as a convenience, that can be problematic because, one, they won't rebook on the spot, which creates a whole sense of uncertainty for you. The other thing too is that they become inconsistent with their service planning. So if you're letting Mary just run her own race in terms of her service or her treatment planning, chances are she's not going to be coming back in when she's required to be coming back in. You know, and it's probably going to cost her more money in the end because you're spending more time on the service, or you're having to prescribe extra home care or whatever it is to get that person back on track. So, you know, think about your online booking options as being more so for new clients than existing clients, okay? And you must have Forest Pay activated to be able to access this functionality on your Forest system, okay? So if you're confused about that or you're not sure, Kim, you know, they can just reach out and get some support through Forest.
Absolutely. I was just about to say the exact same thing, Chrissy. I really liked your point there around the clients and, you know, coming off their treatment plan too and riding their own, you know, their own race there. I thought that was really interesting because I'd never considered that and how much an impact that can actually have on clients' results too. And if they're dissatisfied with the results that they get, they may attribute that back to the salon rather than to, you know, to their own infrequency as a client. So it's a really good point, something to consider when you can, you know, looking at how you're managing process.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've crunched the numbers on this, and when I've been coaching and supporting salon owners and we've looked at frequency of visit, you know, when you let people run their own race in terms of their service planning or their treatment planning, it can cost you up to 3, 4, 5 visits a year. You know, and when you think about that in terms of average client spend, if you've got an average client spend that let's say it's $150, you know, so that's what, potentially $600 per client. Imagine all of the clients running their own race. It is costing your business thousands and thousands of dollars to allow people to do that. And it's not consistent with what, meeting your clients' needs and providing absolute value. So, it's really something to consider. It can have a big impact on business.
Yeah, when you put those numbers out there, it really does kind of shock me. So I'm sure that, the people that are watching on or might watch it on later will be shocked to hear that, but it's a good reminder. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you're not sure, go and crunch the numbers. I'm sure you'll find the motivation then to get those online bookings just for your new clients and not your existing clients when you see that money going down the drain. All right. Next slide, Kim. Thanks. All right, waitlisting. I love it because it gives me lots of flexibility and opportunity to be able to fill those last-minute cancellations. And the way that Forrest do this is just a game changer. It's got a beautiful, nice column there that I can see everybody that's waiting for an appointment. I can pop them into their preferred time, and they're all there ready and waiting for when I can actually move them over into a spot. So, what we do at Infinity Skin and Body, when people inquire for an appointment time, and like I said to you, it's often very difficult to get an appointment with us in advance, which is hard because you want clients to book in advance, so it can be a little bit tricky. But what we do is we actually register our first request on waitlist. So if we have a client say to us, look, Chrissy, I'm just wondering if I can get an appointment in 2 weeks' time. Here's the date, here's the time. We check it. It's not available. Okay, so we say, look, sorry, Mary, what we will do is we're going to waitlist you for that time and then we're going to secure you another time just in case. What would be your next best available? So we actually get 2 booking times from somebody, believe it or not. But it has saved us so many times when we get those last-minute cancellations or those forfeitures going on. We've got a full list of people sitting there where we go, right, let's actually ring these clients and see whether they're interested in taking that initial appointment time request that they provided us when they were first talking to us about our booking. And let me tell you, the experience of ringing up Mary, hey, Mary, it's Chrissy from Infinity Skin and Body. I just want to check, that time that you asked for the other week at Monday at 10 o'clock, I've actually had that time become available. Would you like it? And Mary's like, oh, wow, thank you so much for thinking about me. You really remembered that, Mary? Of course I did. So the client experience around that is absolutely amazing. People feel special, they feel taken care of, and they're like, absolutely, I'll take that time, and then you can just pop into your software and you can just cancel that future-based booking because you're much more capable of being able to, rebook that that appointment that's 2 weeks in advance, as opposed to the bookings that you're trying to get refilled if you're only 48 hours or 24 hours out from a day of appointment. So you can worry about that one later. So first available appointments always assigned. And you can use it for your forfeiture bookings and you'll have enough time to fill your vacancy.
Yeah. That one was brilliant. That's a great tip. I love that. And like you said, for the client, they're just going to be so impressed that you've, in their eyes, you've remembered that they wanted that appointment initially. So for them, it's like they feel cared for. They feel like they were listened to. In reality, you're just making your POS system work harder for you.
Absolutely. It's just a nice little touch to your client experience, particularly if they've never been in salon before as well, or in clinic. You're like, oh, wow, they remembered that I wanted that time. How nice is that? So, really nice touch.
Yeah, great tip, guys. Definitely take that one back to the salon.
Mm-hmm. Next slide. All right. So there's a few things that I know help keep appointment books filled. And like I said, forfeiture, waitlisting. The other thing that's really important is consistent marketing. And whether that be organic or paid, it doesn't matter. Being able to attract new clients and prospects and bring people through the door is really important, okay? Because, you can't have options in terms of filling your appointment books if you don't have that inquiry coming through, so, and from a coaching perspective, when I'm talking to my clients about, well, how do we stop lumpy appointment books, and what I'm referring to when I say lumpy appointment books is that it's kind of feast or famine. It's like we're fully booked, and then we're not, and then we're fully booked, and then we're not. What are we going to do? And what happens is people start to reactive market. So they're like, oh, no, You know, I need bookings this week. Look at my calendar. It's, let's do a special. Let's do a promo. Let's, put something out on socials. That's not good, guys. It's reactive marketing. It's not helpful. So you've got to have your marketing consistent. You've got to be showing up on socials consistently. You might want to invest in paid marketing, whether it be Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever it is. And if you're sitting here thinking, I don't know anything about this stuff, I'm more than happy to have a chat to you guys at a later stage about some of these things. But marketing needs to be consistent. And it's not, like I said, it's not just paid marketing, but all the different ways that you have touch points with your clientele, whether it be, your re-engagement emails or, at Infinity Skin and Body, we send out a community email every single week. We don't even sell in it. It's literally just a touch base around what's been happening in clinic. It has links to all of our live videos of my team members. It's just really about saying, hey, we're here, and this is what we've been doing, showing up on Insta, whatever it is, to be visible and present for your clientele. So as far as paid marketing goes, the benchmark for that is you should really be investing 10% of your overall revenue into paid marketing. Now, if you're looking at some serious growth and scale, sometimes I can see anywhere between 20 and 30% investment in some of my coaching clients' budgeting. So don't be afraid to spend money on marketing, guys. The only challenge is making sure you're investing in something that's going to return. That's where it gets a little bit murky for business owners. But again, you can always talk to me about that if you're a little bit confused or you're not sure. That is one of my superpowers is marketing. All right, next slide. And then this is the other end. So often I'll have clients come to me and say, oh, Chrissy, can you help me with my marketing? Can you blow up my appointment books like you blow up yours? And when I start looking into the details of, okay, well, is marketing the real problem here? Often what I find is it's not the real problem. What the real problem is a leaky boat. And what I mean by that is you've got clients coming into your salon or your clinic and they are falling out the bottom. Okay. And what happens is a little bit of what I referred to before. Oh, they book online. Okay. Oh, do they? And then we go and look at the retention and it's like, well, your retention's only 50%. So some of your people are rebooking online, but you're losing half of your clients, or they're not rebooking at all. And they're saying, yes, I'll let you know when I get my roster, or all of those typical objections that come up when you're trying to secure somebody for another appointment time. And then they just drop off the planet. They're never to be seen again. And what I find is that clinics and salons do not have those structures set in place whereby they follow up those clients. They don't have a system where they're following up their non-rebook clients. They're not using their at-risk reports. I know that Forrest has a 60-day at-risk report where if the client hasn't had an appointment within that time, they're deemed at risk. So then you contact them. And I know that there's a little bit of automation that you can set up in the Forrest software to touch base with those clients, and I think there's even some SMS automation that you can set up with as well. But, I'm a big fan of not relying on automation and actually picking up the phone, touching base with the client. If they're not rebooked, we have a 7-day process for following up with clients if they didn't rebook, because it's a lot easier to convert a client to get them rebooked at 7 days than it is going back 60 days, 7 weeks, 8 weeks later and going, hey, remember me? Or we miss you emails. They can be dead as a doornail at that stage, as far as their coldness towards rebooking. So you're better off trying to engage them within 7 days of them not being rebooked. But if all else fails, you do need to have a lost client management system in place as well. That is in addition to automation. All right. COVID trickiness. So this is one of the last slides around the appointment management process, guys. It's hard work. One of the tips I suppose that I can give you if you're in a having challenges with COVID and opening, reopening, whatever it is, I think that we always prepare for the best case scenario in my salon. So if there's a date provided, we move all of our appointments ready to open on that date. Now, some salon owners will go, oh, but then what if we open and we've spent all of that time? To us, we don't care. Like, we would rather be prepared and ready to go than scrambling the day before, trying to call all the clients, try and get onto it. It's an absolute nightmare. People don't answer their phones anymore, as you would probably know. So we just prepare for the best case scenario every single time. When we were in a stage of open, no, we're not opening. Open, no, we're not opening. Open, like we went through a roller coaster of dates and then dates being postponed. So what we were doing was we were picking up our bookings and just moving them across weeks. So we would pick up Monday through to Friday's bookings and transfer them directly to the following week and pick them up again and transfer them again. And that was the open and rolling booking process. And we informed all of our clientele that that's what we were doing. They could opt out of that. If they weren't able to roll from one Tuesday at 2:00 to the next Tuesday at 2:00 to the following Tuesday at 2:00, they were to let us know that they weren't able to opt in for the open and rolling booking process. And for all the others, we just automatically did that. And then we went about doing our appointment confirmations when we actually had confirmation of our opening date. All right. Why would we do this? For us, preparing for the best case scenario of an open date, we just did that because we got 12 hours notice this time for reopening today. They literally told us yesterday.
It's not enough. Yeah.
There's no time. There's absolutely no time. And because we have lost revenue, you don't want to be sitting around twiddling your fingers for 3 to 4 days trying to get everything sorted. You want to be ready to go because we've just missed out on so much revenue. So you want to be ready to go on day one.
Absolutely. And for anyone watching who has any questions about how Chrissy has managed that, obviously, like we said, lockdown 5.0, she's the master here. We have that question time and time again from our clients here at Forest. So if there's anything that you want to ask her about how she's managed that in her business, the Q&A is definitely the time to do that. She's a wealth of knowledge, so take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having a look at this comment. True was I come to the ideas on last minute. Not quite. Is that shape? I'm not sure. Last minute cancellations and online booking for this existing clients. I'm not quite sure about what that question is, but maybe reshape that question a little bit. Shape Body Studio, and I'll be able to help you out with that query. All right, next slide, please.
Yeah, no worries.
The most important slide, I believe. All right, guys. So if you are listening to all of this stuff and you go, man, there's so many ideas and there's lots of interesting sort of subjects that Chrissy has raised, and I really, really need to learn more about managing my business better. Rebecca Miller, she's known as the skin whisperer in the industry, but she's also a senior coach at the Zing Project. And I are going to be running a workshop. Okay, and the theme of this workshop is healthy team culture and high performance. So we actually train you on how to build really healthy, high-functioning culture within your business. And for those of you that are going through COVID at the moment, this is tricky right now. How do you keep your team members connected? How do you keep them motivated, enthusiastic? And even without COVID, I think this has been a challenge for salon owners. And not only that, when they come out of COVID, or even in general, how do we train them and develop them to be high performance? So Rebecca and I have got together and we've really got some of the solid, well-proven strategies to be able to train you on to be able to do this more effectively in your business. And of course, because I love all things marketing, there is also a segment in here on mastering marketing. So we're going to be talking all about content production, social media content, because it's always a bit of a bottleneck for clients. We find, what do I do? How do I market? What do I, so all of that information is going to be provided on the 6th of September. Now, we are going to be running the event in person possibly, but this event is actually online. Okay, so you will be able to dial in from anywhere in Australia. It's highly interactive. And I must say, Rebecca and I ran a full day online Zing training day about 3 months ago, and our clients were absolutely raving about it. So don't feel like coming online is going to impact on your experience in any way, shape or form. We absolutely nail the online format, right? It's a really highly engaging day. You're going to get loads out of it. And, if you are in lockdown now, this is great, to be able to, well, hopefully you're not in lockdown in September, but, who knows what might be. We don't even know what's happening tomorrow. So, this is a really good opportunity for you to invest in your own education. The tickets are ridiculously priced in terms of cheapness. So, $297, but there's a promotion on where we're giving $100 off for our Forest viewers tonight, everybody that's joined our webinar. So for a full day's training, $197, ridiculous, absolutely. So it's just not even, the price shouldn't even be, a barrier really. So that is available for you. And if you can't make it on the day, it is fully recorded. All right. So you can actually get a recording package where you can go and watch that anytime you like. Okay. So you don't actually have to even show up on the day. You can watch it whenever you like. So that's always a bonus as well. So Becca's popped the link in the comments. So it's the Zing Accelerator, the Business Accelerator. Click the link, secure your ticket. Come online, come to Melbourne if you like, if you're allowed. Obviously, New South Wales, that might be a little bit tricky, but come and have a holiday in Melbourne. It's safe, I promise. Just show up online or watch the recording. There's lots of different options for you there to come along and get more of this stuff.
Absolutely, guys. And just to reiterate, we had 50 minutes of Chrissy's time and expertise and knowledge. Can you imagine what you can get out of a full day for $197 investment? That is ridiculously cheap. And thank you, Chrissy, for offering that discount to our community. Times are tough. It's really appreciated. But guys, if there's things that Chrissy's saying that are resonating with you, book your tickets. Come to the in-person event if you can. Obviously, for us, we'd love to be there. So if we can, we'll be there and we'll be chatting to you. If not, we're all used to Zoom. We know how it runs. We can still have a really great interactive learning experience on the day. So any questions, reach out to us. We'll be happy to trickle those through to Chrissy to make sure that they all get answered for you as well.
Absolutely. Otherwise, reach out to me on social media. So my Facebook page is Chrissy Alger Zing, and same on socials. You might see me floating around. My Facebook account is also known as Psych Chrissy. So that's for psychologist Chrissy, guys, not psychic. So you think, oh, who's this weird lady, showing up in all of the online chat forums for the hair and beauty industry? It's me. So you can feel free to inbox me on my profile as well under Psych Chrissy. So feel free to reach out, guys.
Brilliant. Well, now I guess is the end of today, and we were hoping that we'd have some questions for Chrissy. So if anyone would like to pop them in the chat, feel free to do so, and Chrissy can tackle them now. We'll just give you a minute or so to do that, and Chrissy some time to drink some water and catch your breath.
I know, I've got my heater on, so I'm like, whoa, she's a bit warm in here for once in Melbourne.
I'm sure that doesn't happen too often.
No, it's freezing outside.
Wonderful. Well, when you were talking before, Chrissy, I'll just jump in. I'll ask a question. When you were talking before about taking deposits, obviously, for your new clients, or perhaps potentially your clients who have bad patterns of behavior when it comes to not showing up for their appointments, do you have a standard, would you say that a client should take a percentage, or should they take a flat fee for a service? And again, you talked about those high value services and how you would treat them differently from, say, your low value. Did you want to talk a little bit more about that? Because that's a pretty common question we get here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, how much do I charge, or what percentage, or whatever it is? And I think it's a tricky one, because I think you really do need to have it customized for your business, and, when I look at, say, hair versus skin, skin, for example, a lot of our treatments are 1 hour, so we might, and they're, quite structured. Whereas, a hair appointment, for example, that could go for 2 or 3 hours. So the impacts can be quite different. So I think it's important to have an understanding of your overheads. What does it cost per hour to run your salon, and to have your team member there sort of standing around, potentially not servicing a client, and that will help to guide you around, well, what can I afford if I was to charge a client a percentage of a service, what is going to cover my costs in the event that they don't show up? Particularly if it's a high value service, it wouldn't be unusual for to have coaching clients that will, they'll take it's a prepayment of a service because, whether it be keratin hair straightening or whatever it is, if they were to lose that service, it means that it does have a big impact on their revenue for the day. Or if it's a 3 or a 4 hour service, it has a really big impact, So, I think it's important that you make decisions based on your own business and what your overheads are and what the damage, I suppose, would be if someone was not to show up. So there's no hard and fast rule. I think you just need to understand what would be the financial impact or the consequences on your business and try and reverse engineer that risk with a charge that suits that risk.
Yeah, that's great. You made a really good point there. Figuring out what your overheads are is a great place to start, definitely. And we've had a couple of other questions. So, Chrissy, you have access to the comments there. Did you want to tackle those?
Yeah, absolutely. So awesome. So the Shape. I'm sorry, I don't have your name. I feel a bit strange calling you Shape. But the question is, what are your ideas for dealing with late cancellation clients who have prepaid? All right, so they've paid for their services in advance. So there's a couple of options here. You could potentially, I've had clients who have, they've forfeited that booking in terms of if they've just no-showed, if they've got a package of 3 or 4 services, that means that service is gone. They've forfeited 100% of the booking for that service, because depending on where your tolerance is at, particularly with package clients, I've had a couple of business owners just say, I've had enough. Like they've paid their money, but for some reason it's like they've forgotten that they've even transacted and then they're not really respecting our time. So when you have 100%, a price, like a forfeiture of their booking, I'm tongue-tied. I'm looking for the service price.
Yes.
They twice about not showing up for that, or you could work that around a percentage. So if they were to late cancel or no-show, that they actually forfeit a percentage of that prepaid service. So it might mean that they've got to then top up their bundle of services to be able to access that service that has been sort of chomped into by their booking deposit. Or when I've had clients that will sell a package and they keep booking deposits just on account. So what that means is that that booking deposit just rolls over for appointment. I've also had clients that will have the booking deposit there and use it towards the service or refund it and then call them up again for the booking security. So if you've got a prepaid, say they've paid for 6 laser packages or whatever it is, 6 laser services, you run the booking security as a separate transaction. So you might say, I need $50 booking security for that appointment to go ahead, and then that's the $50 that gets forfeited in the event that they don't show up, and then you collect the security each time. So it just depends on how much support you might have available on your front of house or your administration support as to how you want to run it. But there's some ideas about how you might be able to deal with package clients.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great one. And it was Elise. Thanks, Elise, for giving us your name.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elise.
And Grace has a question for you too.
Yeah, so how do you go about taking credit card details for your clients that have been coming for years without offending them? We want our policy to be the same for everyone. Yeah, I agree. And I think you can't treat one person differently to another person. I think that a booking policy has to be consistent. And I think that you just be honest. Like, I saw a post by a salon owner the other day that said, oh, how does this read, everybody? And basically it was a monologue of, I'm a single parent, I've got children, I'm running a small business, I need to put this in place because, and I just thought, when did we feel guilty about protecting our time and our livelihood? I actually felt for this business owner because I thought this woman feels so guilty about putting a structure in place around respecting her time that she felt the need to actually overcompensate for that. And this is the psychologist coming out of me, guys, excuse this. But there's a total overcompensation. People often fear too much about how they're going to be judged by other people. So I would say just be honest, just be professional, and your good clients will understand, and present it in a professional way. If they're offended, I mean, you might provide a little bit more detail. You could just say something like, Mary, you're great, you're fantastic. You attend every single appointment, and this is definitely not a personal thing against you. This is purely a business decision. Okay, and unfortunately, not everyone's like you, Mary. We have people cancelling at the last minute and not showing up for appointments, and we want to make sure that we've got appointments available for people like you, Mary. And if we don't have this system in place, then you might want an appointment one day that we reserve for somebody that doesn't even turn up, and there's no consequences for that. So then that shortchanges you, So if you feel the need to explain it in a little bit more detail, do it. But otherwise, I just think you be professional, and it's a one-size-fits-all rule, and your good clients are going to be understanding of that.
Absolutely. And putting it back on, and giving the client some explanation as to how this might actually impact them negatively in the future by saying we may not have an appointment available for you, because someone else may book and they may not turn up, and that's a waste of our time and your time. I think that kind of helps the client to understand why you're actually doing it and why it's important for them to kind of follow that protocol as well.
Yeah. So Elise is also asking, how do you open online bookings to new clients but not the existing ones? That just occurred to me then. Does Forest have functionality around locking out existing clients accessing the online booking function and just allowing it for new clients?
Not off the bat. Like, there would be some kind of configuration that you could put into the system to sort of not have your online booking open and just provide a VIP link to your your VIP clients or your clients that you just would like to be able to book. So that may be just your new clients, definitely. But I think what you spoke to earlier could kind of address that, where you were talking about making sure that you're not letting clients control their own booking. So maybe you're booking them in the salon before they leave, and that becomes part of your practice, so that there's no need for them to be going online and sourcing bookings. You're taking care of that process.
Yeah, so I think secondary to that, because I'm like, bring out that functionality, because I'd turn it on. I actually told one of my coaching clients to turn off their online booking the other day, because I said, if I see another one of your existing clients book online, you're interested. I don't know what to do. I said, well, turn it off. Don't provide the option if people are using it in that way. So it just comes through educating your client. You just say, look, like you would, we run certain promotions in our clinic, for example, that are for new clients only. We have amazing options for our existing clients as well, but they all know that some of the promotions we run are just for new clients, because they're for new people to come and experience what we have to offer. For me, online booking is the same deal. It's about providing ease of booking for people that may never have had contact with us before. Once we've got that relationship, we don't want our clients using a digital system to make their bookings. We want them to book with us. So it's about training and educating your client. I would simply just say to your client, look, Mary, we do have an online booking function, but we that is an outlet for our new clients, okay? So with our existing clients, we actually book those appointments for you, because that's the service that we offer. And it's consistent with your treatment plan, and we can keep an eye on you, in terms of your service planning and making sure that you're, adhering to, best practice and all of that sort of stuff. You're saving the clients from themselves, basically.
Absolutely. And Elise made a really good point. Online booking can be really confusing for clients, particularly if, your service list they're not too sure what they should be booking in for. They might book in for the wrong thing. Having you control their journey towards their goal is really important. Making sure you're booking them in for, exactly the right services that they need. They may not need the same services every single visit. So it comes back to servicing that client and making that client feel really cared for, because you're providing them with that really important, knowledge and that guidance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how many times, and I've got hair and skin clinic clients and beauty clients where, individuals will book things that they're just not suitable for, or they turn, and I mean, obviously it's down to your consultation to remedy that, but, particularly for hair clients where things take a lot more time than would have been allowed if someone, you've got your existing clients just willy-nilly picking and it happens with new clients anyway, but, to have that sort of mess happening where clients are going on and picking things that, one, they're not suitable for, or is just not helpful for them, or not in line with their service plan. Like, it just, you need to take control of your client experience, and really make sure that just your new clients are using that online booking as a matter of convenience, rather than your existing clients. Really important stuff.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like just checking if anyone has questions, of course, they can put them in the question box, but it appears like we might be running dry on those. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Chrissy, is there anything else you wanted to leave our audience with before you go?
Not at all. Just come to the Business Accelerator, guys. It's going to be an absolutely amazing day. And like I said, it's for the price. You're never going to get a full day's training for $200. It's just a no-brainer, and really high quality stuff too.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, one last thing, we'll be following up with everybody with an email that will have the replay link. So if you had to jump off early, obviously you're not here watching it, but you'll be able to, watch it in your own convenience, or, go back and refresh on some of the things that Chrissy mentioned as well. We'll also be sending out a survey with some information for you as well. You can keep an eye on your inbox for that. And then Chrissy and I will be back on Wednesday, the 18th of August. We'll be running another webinar. Yes. This one's really exciting, guys. It will be focusing on staff performances and a new challenge that we have, a new feature coming out called Staff Challenges. So we'll deep dive into motivating your staff, to achieve their best performance. It's going to be a good one to watch out for.
Yep. So sign up for that one as well, guys, and I'll see you back here in a few weeks' time.
Fantastic. And Chrissy, you just want to quickly give everybody your handles again, where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chrissy Alger, or look out for Site Chrissy on Facebook, which is my my personal profile that I use for business. But yeah, so that's wonderful. Where you can catch me.
Love it. Well, thank you for staying back late for us. I think it's almost our bedtime.
I know. I'm normally way past my bedtime. I'm normally in bed by this time.
I love it. All right. Well, thanks so much, Chrissy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.